Hello everyone, hope you're doing well. I was going to do the whole suggestions past the developers for aviation today from August of 2024, but one of the articles I believe needed some special attention. This is for a Cessna, the good old super tweet. This is from SlowMo212, and it is a fantastic article going through all the different intricacies of this wonderful American aircraft. And I thought I would share the whole history with you, since it is just a wonderful thing to look at. Anyway, enjoy the video. And if you haven't yet, make sure to subscribe. Let's get into it. The first vehicle is for America, and it is the Cessna A-37B Super Tweet, the Dragonfly. During the early 1960s, American military involvement in the Vietnam War was growing, leading to a strong interest from military officials for the development of counterinsurgency, or COIN aircraft. Already existing platforms such as the Douglas A-1 Skyraider, while still a worth aircraft, was becoming obsolete, and thus was less than satisfactory, as younger pilots being trained to fly jet aircraft struggled to adapt to the A-1's radial engine and reverse tricycle or tail dragger landing gear arrangement. At the time, the Cessna T-37 Tweet was in widespread use by the military as a basic trainer aircraft. Thus, for its already well-known controls and reliability, in late 1962, the United States Air Force Special Air Warfare Center evaluated two T-37Cs as potential aircraft for attack missions. The USAF determined the T-37 to be a promising COIN aircraft and expressed its interest in an improved version that would be able to carry a significantly larger payload, along with greater endurance and better shore-field performance. These requirements meant the aircraft would have to be significantly heavier and thus would need to use more powerful engines. To account for the drastic increase in airframe weight and also payload capacity, Cessna decided to double the aircraft's engine power by replacing its twin Continental J69 engines with General Electric J85 J25 turbojet engines. In 1963, the USAF awarded a contract to Cessna to create two prototype aircraft designated as the YAT-37Ds, essentially heavily modified T-37s. Alterations for the YAT-37D included the strengthened wings, larger wingtip fuel tanks, additional avionics and communication, navigation, and also targeting equipment, toughened landing gear, and the fitting of the GAU-2B A minigun installed in the right side of the aircraft's nose. In October 1964, the original YAT-37D performed its maiden flight, followed by the second prototype a year later. The tests were deemed successful. However, the USAF's interest in counterinsurgency aircraft had decreased over time, thus the program went into limbo for a time, with the second prototype being sent to the National Museum of the United States Air Force in Ohio. As the Vietnam War continued to escalate during the 1960s, losses of Douglas A-1 Skyraider aircraft were significantly greater than anticipated, leading to the revival in the USAF's interest in COIN aircraft. In the process, the YAT-37D seemed like a promising candidate for the role, thus the USAF issued a contract to Cessna for a pre-production batch of 39 of them, asking for only a few minor changes to the prototypes to be built off existing T-37Bs. These aircraft were initially designated as AT-37Ds, but was changed to the A-37A. In August of 1967, 25 A-37As were deployed to Vietnam under the Combat Dragon Evaluation Program and flew from Bien Hoa Air Base on USAF Air Commando missions, including close air support, helicopter air support, or helicopter escort, FAC, and night interdiction. During this period, the A-37As flew thousands of sorties, with none being lost to enemy fire, although two were wrecked in landing accidents. While the aircraft was formerly named the Dragonfly, many pilots called it the Super Tweet. The Combat Dragon program was proven successful, but it also revealed some of the deficiencies of the A-37A. The largest problem being the aircraft lacked range and also endurance. Other important concerns were heavy control response during attack runs and the vulnerability of the aircraft's flight control system. Some pilots also criticized the minigun as ineffective and also impacting the pilot's view. The USAF signed another contract with Cessna in early 1967 for an improved design, designated the A-37B. The A-37Bs were newly built airframes that were considerably stronger than the A-37As, capable of pulling 6 Gs instead of 5, and were built to have a longer fatigue life of 4,000 hours. The A-37B added a refueling probe to the nose, updated avionics, a redesigned instrument panel, an automatic engine inlet de-icing system, and also a revised landing gear. However, like its predecessors, the A-37B was not pressurized. The A-37 proved to excel at close air support missions, being able to engage targets at speeds roughly 100 miles per hour slower than other fighters, and by doing so improve its bombing accuracy. Pilots reportedly being able to achieve an average accuracy of 45 feet. While the aircraft's slow speed appeared to make it more vulnerable, the A-37's small size, unusual speeds, and also low-altitude flying combined to make it rather hard to hit. The A-37 required little maintenance compared to comparable fighters, needing only 2 hours of maintenance for each hour of flight time, 6 times less than that of the McDonnell F-101 Voodoo, a feat that was partially due to the multiple access panels. The A-37 did not typically attract attention from the media, unlike many other USAF combat aircraft used in the theater. One reason for this was that the type was never flown into North Vietnam, where hostile air defenses were proved to be challenging, claiming to have downed almost 200 F-4s and 300 F-105s by the conflict's end. Instead, A-37s operated in the south, as well as in neighboring Laos and Cambodia, where it was typically used to support US ground forces. By the war's end, the A-37 had flown over 160,000 combat sorties. The type remained active in the theater until the fall of Saigon, shortly prior to which efforts were made to retrieve as many as possible before they fell into North Vietnamese hands. Following the conflict's end, the USAF opted to transfer the A-37B from the USAF's Tactical Air Command to TAC gained units in the Air National Guard and Air Force Reserve. During the early 1980s, the aircraft were assigned to the Forward Air Control role and given the designation OA-37B. The OA-37Bs were eventually phased out over the 1980s and 90s and replaced by the famous Fairchild Republic A-10 Thunderbolt II. The OA-37's last saw service during Operation Just Cause, during the United States invasion of Panama in December of 1989, before finally being phased out and replaced entirely. The A-37B is a very interesting vehicle with many different parts to it, but the armament itself is the one which is most interesting, with, of course, the Gao-2B, the little minigun, the 7.62mm version with 1,200 rounds in the fuselage nose. It also had 8 total hardpoints, 4 under each of the wings, which could carry either a bunch of bombs or rocket pods, and of course AIM-9 sidewinders, which would mean this vehicle could do quite a lot. The other part of it is, of course, the gun pods. It could bring some miniguns on top of the original minigun that it had in the center. A very fun CAS aircraft that I'm sure we'll see at some point. As always, I hope you have a wonderful day, and I'll see you next time. I'd just like to thank GMG Smiley, CD Beans, Chieftain Mike, EMN3 Galaxy, Tulio Pontecorvo, Brendan Quinn, Carrion Crow, Gus Irenicus, Pyman, Wartinder, Teddy, Daniel Stanton, Martinez, B. Young, Ozzy Panzer, Alan Hacker, Liam Shear, Opium Prime, Lafouche, Sem Aslan, Uncle Bean, and Derek R. for supporting the channel.